Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you are watching from around the world. Thank you for joining us once again for another in-depth discussion covering politics, diplomacy, international affairs, and developments across the Horn of Africa. If you are new to the channel, please take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates and analysis. Today we are discussing a development that has generated enormous discussion throughout Somaliland and beyond. The recent visit by Somaliland President Abdurrahman Mohamed Abdullahi, widely known as Cirro, to Israel has become one of the most talked-about political developments in the region. Supporters describe the visit as a diplomatic success. Others are watching carefully to see whether concrete outcomes will emerge. Political analysts are debating the significance. Citizens are discussing the implications, and observers across the Horn of Africa are asking an important question. Could this visit mark a new chapter in Somaliland's international engagement? Or is it simply one step in a much longer diplomatic journey? That is exactly what we will explore today. So sit back, relax, and let's begin. To understand why so many people are discussing this visit, we first need to understand Somaliland's unique position. For more than 3 decades, Somaliland has maintained its own governing institutions, security forces, parliament, elections, and administrative systems. Throughout this period, Somaliland leaders have consistently sought stronger international engagement. As a result, every diplomatic visit receives significant public attention. Every foreign partnership becomes a topic of national discussion. Every international meeting is carefully analyzed. This explains why President Cirro's visit attracted so much interest. Supporters see it as another opportunity to strengthen international relationships. Critics argue that diplomatic visits alone do not automatically change political realities. But regardless of differing opinions, one thing is certain. The visit has become a major talking point. Many Somaliland citizens believe international visibility is important. They argue that stronger diplomatic engagement helps present Somaliland's case to the wider world. Others believe economic cooperation and investment opportunities are equally important. For these supporters, diplomatic outreach is not only about politics. It is also about development. It is about trade. It is about technology. It is about education. It is about future opportunities. And this brings us to the next important question. Why Israel? Israel occupies an important position in international affairs. The country is recognized globally for innovation, technology, scientific research, agriculture, water management, cybersecurity, and entrepreneurship. Many countries seek partnerships with Israel in these areas. Supporters of stronger engagement believe Somaliland could benefit from cooperation in sectors that directly affect economic growth and social development. For example, water management technology could help regions facing environmental challenges. Agricultural expertise could support food production. Educational exchanges could create new opportunities for students. Business partnerships could encourage investment and entrepreneurship. Technology cooperation could contribute to economic modernization. These possibilities are among the reasons supporters have welcomed the visit. However, expectations vary. Some observers believe practical results will take time. Others argue that diplomatic relationships should be judged by long-term outcomes rather than immediate headlines. This is a point worth remembering throughout our discussion today, because diplomacy is rarely measured in days or weeks. Often, its true impact becomes visible months or even years later. Since news of the visit emerged, supporters have expressed optimism. Many see the visit as evidence that Somaliland continues expanding its international connections. Some commentators describe the development as a sign of confidence. Others view it as part of a broader diplomatic strategy. Across social media platforms, public discussions have focused on opportunities that could emerge from stronger international engagement. Supporters frequently highlight several themes: international visibility, economic cooperation, investment opportunities, technology transfer, educational partnerships, and future diplomatic engagement. For many supporters, the symbolic value of international meetings matters. They believe visibility helps create awareness. Awareness creates relationships. Relationships create opportunities. And opportunities can eventually produce practical benefits. This perspective explains much of the enthusiasm surrounding the visit. At the same time, important questions remain. What specific outcomes will result from the visit? Will new agreements be announced? Will economic cooperation increase? Will educational partnerships be developed? Will business opportunities expand? Will there be follow-up meetings? These questions are central to the discussion. Because ultimately, many observers believe success should be measured not only by diplomatic meetings, but also by practical achievements. And that is where the next phase becomes important. What happens after the headlines fade? What happens after the celebrations end? What happens when attention shifts toward implementation? These are the questions that will determine the long-term significance of the visit. Beyond politics, many discussions surrounding President Cirro's visit focus on economics. For years, Somaliland's business community has emphasized the importance of attracting investment, expanding trade opportunities, and creating jobs for a growing young population. Supporters of stronger international engagement believe diplomatic relationships can contribute to these goals. Consider the role investment can play in economic development. New investments can support infrastructure projects. Infrastructure can improve transportation. Improved transportation can support trade. Trade can encourage business growth. Business growth can create employment opportunities. And employment opportunities can strengthen economic stability. This is one of the reasons many supporters pay close attention to diplomatic developments. They are not simply thinking about politics. They are thinking about practical opportunities. Business leaders often argue that international visibility can help attract investors who may previously have known little about Somaliland. The greater the visibility, supporters argue, the greater the chance of building commercial partnerships. Of course, investment decisions depend on many factors: economic conditions, regulatory frameworks, infrastructure, political stability, market opportunities. Diplomatic engagement is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Nevertheless, supporters believe every international relationship can potentially contribute to economic growth. Another major theme discussed by supporters involves education and technology. The world is changing rapidly. Digital technology is transforming economies. Artificial intelligence is reshaping industries. Innovation increasingly determines competitiveness. Countries and regions that successfully develop technological capacity often create new opportunities for their citizens. Supporters argue that international partnerships can help accelerate this process. Educational exchanges may allow students to gain valuable experience. Research collaborations may support innovation. Professional training programs may help develop specialized skills. Technology partnerships may encourage entrepreneurship. These possibilities explain why discussions about international cooperation often extend beyond politics. For many young people, the most important question is simple: will these relationships create opportunities for future generations? That question resonates strongly across the region, because the future belongs to young people, and many citizens want to see diplomatic engagement produce benefits that improve everyday lives. Whether through education, technology, healthcare, or business, supporters often emphasize practical outcomes rather than symbolism alone. To fully understand the significance of this development, we must also consider the broader regional context. The Horn of Africa occupies a strategically important location. The region sits near major maritime routes that connect Africa, the Middle East, Europe, and Asia. As a result, international powers pay close attention to developments in the region. Economic projects, infrastructure investments, security cooperation, trade initiatives, diplomatic relationships. All of these factors influence regional dynamics. Because of this strategic importance, developments involving Somaliland often attract attention far beyond its borders.